Hi everybody, this week we are joined by Sue McKenna. Hi Sue.
Hi.
And Sue is going to tell us about what she sells and her services. So Sue, over to you. Let's tell us a bit about yourself.
I am the owner and creator of the Maldon Soap Company, which has been running for 11 years now. Can hardly believe that. I make organic soaps, skincare, hair care, bath stuff, all by hand, using local, organic, vegan, ethically sourced ingredients, and no nasties like parabens and sulfates and SNS and palm oil and things like that. So it's obviously people like it because they keep buying it. So yeah, doing all right. So
you're obviously Essex based, so by local, did you actually, when you started, did you want to involve local products and people?
Absolutely. That was the main thing for me. It was going to be, everything had to be local. The organic side of it came later. Because buying organic ingredients is incredibly expensive, so I had to be kind of established before I could then take the, sort of start using organic versions of all the oils and butters and things that I use. But yeah, it's evolved because I started literally from making 3 soaps on my kitchen worktop, and then 6, and then maybe 12. I'll be like, I'll never get rid of this lot. Now I make them in batches of like 80 and 160. So
really?
So it's kind of snowballed. But because I started literally from nothing, whenever I've been able to, I've kind of gone from, like, we went from plastic pots to glass jars, and then we went organic, and then we went completely vegan. I took beeswax and honey out of the products. So it's always evolving, which is really good. But I think I'm there now. I don't think there's anything left to do, but there might be. I don't know.
So how did you learn the process of making soap?
YouTube.
YouTube, really? Because all I can think of is whatever that film is with Brad Pitt and the other guy when they do the soap and they're making these bits and pieces and bombs and bits or whatever it is.
I don't know, I've not seen
that.
But
so there's obviously a process to it. Was it a lot of like?
Yeah, I have a background in skincare industry anyway. And I'm an aromatherapist, so it doesn't sound, it's not quite as crazy as it might sound. Because I've got such incredibly sensitive skin. I couldn't find anything that would really suit my skin, so I decided to make my own. So initially I made it just for sort of me and gave it to friends and family to try out and stuff. And
guinea pigs.
Yeah.
You think guinea pigs at the beginning, don't you?
Pretty much, yeah. It's like, why have you got 3 years? So I've been using your face cream. And then obviously I wanted to sell it. They're like, oh, you should sell it, you should sell it. But you have to have every product safety assessed and tested, and that costs an awful lot of money. So once you've had that done, you've pretty much got to go into business to recoup the money that you've spent on the assessments. So that's kind of what I did. I started selling it in the Maldon Heritage Centre, which is the, looks like a church at the top of Market Hill, where the Plume Library is, because I was managing that at the time. I'd left like full-time work and then got this little part-time job, but I needed to supplement my income. So I went back, I did a bit of my glass painting and handmade cards, what I used to do ages ago. Did a few craft fairs, and then started making the soap, and then just sold, sort of sold a few, and it just snowballed from there. So I still sell it in there. I still sell it in the Heritage Centre as well.
And when you started, were you aware of that process, that you needed to get all this documentation in place, and the time frame that took? Yeah,
I mean, I sort of, as I say, I only made a few at a time. But once I knew I was going to sell it, but it's like everything. It's like, don't make a business out of a hobby, because it ceases to become a pleasure. So it's like, oh, I'll make soap again. but yeah, I did know what was involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
So how long is that before you've got, you know, I guess you've got to get everything in place and what your ingredients are, and have them approved, and how long is that process? Because if you want to start making money, you've got like 2 or 3 months until you get accredited or allowed to do that. What's that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I was working part-time as well, so it was very much a hobby. It wasn't like, oh, I've got to, you know, I've suddenly got to make an income from this. It only took sort of a few weeks, so it's not, it wasn't a really long drawn out process. But yeah, once that was done, that was it. And then I was looking for outlets, you know, sort of around and about, and I sold, I got sort of 2 or 3 different outlets. Then I was selling on Etsy to start with, and then I got my own website, which was great. Once I got the website up and running, then I was approached by Tiptree Jam Factory, who said, would I put some products in? I mean, for them to ask me, that was like, whoa, made it now.
But there's such a great example of local businesses kind of done with those, and Maldon Sea Salt, isn't it? That's
absolutely
done
amazing.
so well.
I mean, you get so many. I did a thing. I did like a mail shot of soap. I sent like 12 local businesses. I sent them a bar of soap and a letter, a really nice letter saying, I'm local soap maker, I make, you know, blah blah blah. And then I thought, well, even if they throw the letter away, they've got that bar of soap. Every time they wash their hands, they're going to think of me. So it was kind of, you know, it wasn't.
That's a good little marketing product.
Yeah. And anybody think I'd done this before, wouldn't they? But a couple of people came back, like Snake Maltings, you know, in Suffolk.
Right.
You know that it's a huge, it's like a big old, malting, and it's right on the river, and it's where it's fantastic. It's like a craft centre, and they've got like loads of business in there, and it's just like your ideal place to find handmade soap. And they were like, oh, they sent a lovely letter. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, we really love supporting local businesses and stuff. We'd want to buy it for like 40% of what it's worth, and because they want to double it and add VAT. And it's like, I can't afford to sell it for that. No. So yeah, there were loads of people like, yeah, we want to do it double plus VAT, and I'm not, you know, I'm not a manufacturer. I'm, you know, sort of, so I can't make it for tuppence and then, you know, sort of sell it on that way. But Tiptree, when they approached me, I was like, well, I can only give you a little discount. They're like, fine, that's absolutely fine, no problem at all. And I was just in there for Christmas. That was 2015, and I'm still in there now. Wow, really? And I've got double the space now. I've got two lots of shelves. Well, the chap that was next to me very sadly died. He was an amazing wood turner, and they said, oh, would you like his shelves as well? So I was able to kind of spread out. So yeah, I'm still, they're not sick of me yet. No, and that's good for you, because the footfall through that place is massive, right? So. And they are my ideal customers. Yeah. They are, you know, the soap's not cheap. It's not, you know, and they're just sort of the right kind of demographic to come in. Yeah. So coach trips. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You don't, so I was going to ask you, when you said about you weren't organic products originally, how frustrating is it that you have to pay more for something that's organic that isn't processed, and how does that affect how does that affect your profit and your turnover? Some of the things that are organic are 17 times the price of non-organic. Really? Even if it's only a penny, that's still a considerable amount, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah, it's sometimes it's just ridiculous. I've actually discontinued products because I can't afford to make them. Yeah. And things like my pure almond soap, which I make the almond milk myself. Like I get like organic almonds, and then you soak them and you take the skins off, and then you blitz them up with like distilled water to make the almond milk. And then I use organic almond oil, and our organic almond oil is just ridiculous. It's so expensive. So I had to put the price of the soap up.
Yeah.
And I don't obviously don't sell as much as I used to, but I do still sell it. But I have to, you know, when I first started, I can't charge that. Oh, people won't pay that. But now it's like, it is what it is. It's organic. It's handmade.
Unfortunately, you know, you've got to pay through the nose for organic.
Yeah.
You don't want to charge customers more for it being organic, but there's no real choice, really, is there? You kind of hands are tied by the products that and the ingredients you want to put into it.
Yeah.
And if you want to be an organic product and people want to buy the organic product, then that's the premium you're going to have to pay for it.
Exactly.
Really,
yeah. I mean, I've learned kind of the hard way. I've literally come up from nothing, and like running a business, you have to have a business head on it. You have to, you know, you have to take emotion out of it. You've got to take yourself out of it. It's not me. Yes, it's, you know, it's made by me. It's my name over the door, but it's not me. So if I got a snarky comment from a customer, it used to bother me for weeks and weeks. Now I'm like, it's not. It's just, you've got to separate yourself. It's, you know, you've got to put your business head on, and that's it.
But that's very difficult to do when it's your baby, right?
Yeah.
When it's your baby, and as you say, you're hand making this stuff. When you've put blood, sweat, and tears into that product, and you do get an off comment, that's got to hit you straight in the heart. And you're like,
it's absolutely.
I've been up since till 3 o'clock in the morning, crushing these almonds or whatever it is, you know.
With my teeth,
with my teeth, nothing more organic than crushing with your teeth. Au natural.
Yeah. It can be. I mean, I'm touch wood. I probably could count on the fingers of one hand how many complaints I've had. I'm truly blessed that, you know, my customers are amazing. They love, you know, they love what I do. And, you know, very few products go wrong. I think because I'm there, you know, because I make them in very small batches, there's not a lot to go wrong. Like if you were making them in massive great vats or something and you forget to put the fragrance in or something, you've wasted a whole batch. But when I'm making them, you know, I've got ultimate control over everything. It's not, I mean, I don't make. The last couple of years, my daughter-in-law Lauren has been helping me. First of all, she was wrapping the soaps for me during lockdown, sort of take them round, leave them on the bench in the garden, and then she'd come out and get them. And she'd wrap them, and then she started sending the orders out for me. Then I was teaching her to make the products, and she's doing really well. She makes loads of products for me, but she's just as OCD as me about, you know, perfectionism, and, you know, making sure that everything is absolutely, you know, sort of up to scratch, and very few things go out and then have to be recalled. I think we've had maybe 2 products ever.
Oh, really?
So we're very lucky, but I'm really quite, you know.
Yeah, I think you have to be. If it's your business, you need to be in control of that. It's not as if you're. I mean, I'm guessing you mentioned you was doing it in your kitchen. Are you still in the kitchen doing it, or is there a?
No, I moved from the kitchen. Then I got a little my little soap shack at White Elm Garden Centre. Right. I had, when they'd just taken that over, Rob and Charlotte had just taken that over, and they put three little like log cabins out the back to rent out to businesses, and I managed to get like the first one of those. Happened to just go in there just at the right time, you know. You just perfect timing. It was like really meant to be. And I was there for about 3.5 years, but I had it set up so that I'd got a shop side and the making bit, so I could make it and sell it. People could come in and watch me making soap. And,
which is ideal, right? Because people can see the process behind the brand as well. And how, I mean, I wouldn't have a clue how it's done or how long it takes, but to have that exposure is great.
It was brilliant. I mean, it was lovely, and I loved it there. It was such a lovely atmosphere, and people were amazing. But because it was basically a shed, it got up to about 40 degrees in the summer,
right,
and would get down to about 2 degrees in the winter. So there were weeks that I couldn't even go in there.
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't make stuff because it was either too hot or too cold, and I couldn't sit in there because it was either a sauna or a fridge. Yeah. So, and I couldn't expect people to come in as well, and I like to have the doors open and all this kind of thing. And when it was cold and like condensation on the windows, people would just go like this and then walk away. And I'd be like, no point. Yeah, I'm like, I've made all this effort. And so yeah, I mean, it wasn't ideal, but it was a brilliant start. Yeah. It was fantastic. I had a big order from China on Etsy, like huge order from back then. It was massive order, and with the proceeds of that, I was able to finance getting the soap shack. So I was able to make that next step kind of thing, and it was great. It was lovely, but I'd have to, if I was making soap, I'd make the soap and then, I need to make bath, right, I've got to put everything away soap related and then get the bath bombs out. Right, now I need to make some face cream. Right, everything's got to be cleared up and everything's got to go away. So I did that. I outgrew it within about 8 months.
Really?
But I stayed for 3.5 years. And then it got to a point where I just couldn't, you know, I had to expand. And and I found a studio on a farm even nearer, just in Hazley, just up the road from me. But it wasn't, I couldn't be open to the public.
No.
So that was another step, that I didn't have that footfall, so I had to rely on the website, and then I had to get more outlets.
Yeah.
So I managed to stay at White Elm as an outlet. They gave me a big shelf, actually in the garden centre, so then they could sell it. They could, you know, sell it all the time that they're open. And I moved to the studio, and all the, you know, all the fittings and everything all fitted in the studio. But you could actually fit the soap shack in the studio 3 times. It's like, so it's 3 times the size. And I've definitely expanded and filled it, and it's very, very messy. But
it smells nice.
But it smells amazing. Apparently, I can't smell it anymore. But if you have like mint, if you have a bit of chewing gum or something, then that kind of cancels your smell, and you can suddenly smell like.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can suddenly smell everything. I'm like, oh, it does smell nice. Or if I take paperwork home, I can smell it at home, but I can't smell.
Right.
Can't smell it anymore. No. So you just get used to it.
So you've completely filled out this studio.
Yeah.
And it's just is it just like a processing machine of different products? It's very much a workshop. I did, when I first moved there, I wanted to do like workshops. I was going to do bath bomb making, and we had open days, and we had people sort of come and whatever. And I used to do like Christmas launch, and used to do afternoon teas and things like that. And it was lovely. And then of course lockdown happened, and I've not really got back into it because I've not really cleared up. It's just too much of a mess now. So it's just everything's out, and it's amazing though. Is it something you've got to actually make in your facility? Is it something you can go out and show people how you make stuff and do little showcases? We used to go, my daughter and I roped her in to help, and we went out a couple of times to like schools, and we went to Scouts and Rainbows, and we did bath bomb making with them, and that was quite good fun. But it's quite a faff for very little return. I mean, it's getting you out there, but when you're a tiny micro business, you know, you've got, you know, it's like, do I sit at home and do social media posts, or do I go out and do a bath bomb thing? You know, so we didn't sort of pursue it. It wasn't something. It's not for me. Yeah, and that's the downside of having your own business, isn't it? I guess we've said before, you're wearing 7, 8 different hats a day, and you've got to think, well, what am I going to focus on today? Yeah. You know, for you, you've got to get orders out.
Yeah, exactly.
But At the same token, you've got to get orders in as well. So
yeah.
it's how do you get those orders
it's
in?
working on the business and then working in the business. You've got to do both. Yeah, you can't just, you can't just work, in the business. You can't just make the stuff. You've got to generate the sales as well. Yeah. So you've got to do all that.
So how did you streamline that process then? Because obviously you're quite an established independent business owner. When you started, I guess it was a bit, I would assume, chaotic, because most businesses are, because you don't know where to procure stuff from, what to do first, finances, got an account, I've got a website, whatever it is.
Yeah.
What have you put in place to kind of streamline that?
I don't, it's just basic firefighting.
It's the same chaos it was when I started.
Yeah, nothing's changed.
I like your honesty. Most people go, well, I've put this process in place, and I've done this.
Yes, yeah.
I just bung it all in a pot, stir it.
I've got things like, I use a social media scheduling tool that regenerates a lot of posts. And so you kind of load it up, and then it will recycle posts. So it's like, something come out like every 2 to 3 months. So it's fine, because not everybody's going to see those posts anyway. So it's like they're seeing it for the first time. It's just if I occasionally do something, I was having things come out in November saying Happy Easter. That was quite funny. I'm like, oh, I think I should have got rid of that one. Because you can set it how many times to post and stuff, and I obviously put. Normally I put a post and I just set it to like 50 times, so I know it will I can edit it before, sort of thing. But I must have done that, and it's like, yeah, Happy Easter. I had a customer go, Easter. Yeah, well, I love chocolate. I like it to go on as long as possible. So yeah, that was quite funny. So things like that, that I've put in place, and for social media, I've got like Canva. For all my social media posts and graphics and things like that, and it's just, I'll sit there for the day and just pop and just whop them out, look like, and get like 30, 40, sort of graphics done. Graphics done. Yeah.
That's about to take me about an hour and a half to do one.
It's the posts that take, like, I've got millions of them, but I just need to do the posts for them now. But that is one of my stall tactics. Making memes and making graphics look pretty, and I'll be like, I could do that all day, but it doesn't pay the bills.
No.
So it's great. And now I've started doing. So I've got lots of outlets, and now I've started, because the website's gone a bit quiet. I think generally online shopping has gone a bit quiet.
Yeah.
So that's why I've started doing craft fairs again and getting out there and actually going to, and it's lovely because I work alone. I don't see anybody. I don't get out much. They don't help me out much.
It's that lady that would turn on her own, mumbling to herself and smelling nice.
Yeah, exactly. And Lauren helps me a couple of days a week, but the rest of the time I'm all on my own. And I'm all on my own. So it's really, really nice getting out to craft fairs and actually going and talking to people about the product. And I come across like so passionate about the products because I've got all for weeks. Please talk to me. I want to tell you about soap. So it's been really nice actually. It knackers my back, but it's really nice to to get out, see people, and then you've got people going, oh yeah, because I'm doing some regular fairs, like I've booked to do them sort of once a month, and so you do get your regulars come in, which is really nice.
But do you see the same kind of people at the fairs as well? Selling stuff, so it's the same stallholders, because we've spoken to people before, and they do certain fairs and bits and pieces, and they've built up a bit of a network of a community of other manufacturers like yourself. They're making stuff, or they're selling whatever product, and they'll see him maybe in Suffolk, Cambridge, wherever it is they go. And that helps word of mouth. As well, and they can tell you, if you say, I think I'm going to this particular event, and say, I don't, you know, you get that advice whether you think you'll be wasting your time or be a good one for you. So,
well, when I started back on the craft fair kind of circuit, I was a bit shocked at kind of, you know, you do fairs, you see a lot of the same people obviously on the circuit. That doesn't always help, because customers come in, they see the same stuff, different day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's not always good for business to be in the same place, because people are like, oh yes, I saw you last time. See, when I used to do glass painting, I'd do these gorgeous vases and stuff with all these like dual colours, and then put candle inside so they all look like stained glass and stuff, and they're gorgeous, if I say so myself. But then you get people come around and go, oh yeah, I bought one of those last time.
Yeah.
But they don't want another one, because they've got one.
They've got one.
Whereas now I make consumables,
they
love it, and by the next fair they've used it and they want another one. So being on the, you know, sort of being on the circuit is different for different people. If you've got stuff that's consumable, great, like cakes or soap or candles or something that somebody's going to use up. But if you're doing, as I say, stained glass or something, they're not going to, unless they've smashed it, they don't need another one, or they want one for a present or something. So it's really difficult. It's quite a fine line to, you know, to kind of work out whether you should do, you know, sort of the same fairs, or whether you should go for different ones. It's all part of the kind of retail psychology of stuff, which I find fascinating.
And I guess your years of experience before you got into this, and the years that you've been doing this, you've got that knowledge of a bit more of how to do it, what to do and when to do it, rather than you're 18 months in and you're still kind of scattergunning everywhere just to try and get a sale here and there, right? Yeah,
exactly. You're just, you know, it smacks of desperation in the end, you know, sort of when you first start, you just want to, you know, you just want to advertise anywhere.
You are quite desperate, aren't you? You want everyone to love what you do and your product or service because you're passionate about it.
Yeah.
And I think it can be quite disheartening when you've started and 6 months down the line you're not doing as well as you thought it was going to be, because in your head it's a great product, your friends and family have told you how brilliant you are and what a great product it is, which I think is potentially the wrong demographic to ask. You want to be kind of doing different market research, and then to not have that sale, it's so tough.
I mean, I was always very scattergun approach, spray and pray. And then I discovered Spray and Pray.
That's going to be the title of this episode. Spray and Pray.
And but I discovered quite early on in my of running a business, I discovered a wonderful lady called Claire Mitchell of the Girls Mean Business, and I used to listen to her podcasts, and she tells it like it is. She's from Darlington, and she's got the most amazing accent, and she's like, you've got to market to the people that are most likely to buy from you. You can sell to anyone, but only market to those that are most likely to buy. You know, like I was approached by Maldon Football Club. Did I want to go on their advertising hoarding? And I'm like, oh, I could do that. How many footballers are going to buy soap?
Yeah.
You know, they might. Someone might buy something for their wife or something, but they're not my ideal customer. My ideal customer are Tiptree Jam Factory. They're coming in on a coach, and they're looking and they're buying local gifts, and they're the right age, they're the right kind of lifestyle. So you've got to go where the people are, you know, the right people. So
and when you have these outlets like Tiptree, how far and wide are you spread? Are you local Essex, kind of surrounding counties, or are you getting more nationwide?
No, I'm still local, because I go around and top them up.
Right.
There were a few that have bought stuff and they buy it up front, but most of the stuff that I do is sale or return. So I put all the stuff on, and it's my stock, and then they tell me at the end of the month how much is sold. and then I invoice them. Whereas some outlets actually buy it up front, but then once they've bought it, I've got no control over it. So it could be 2 years old and they've still got it on the shelf trying to sell it. And if they sell it, and then it's my name over the door, they're coming back to me, I've got this and it's out of date. It's like, it's nothing to do with me. It's really hard. I found that really kind of...
And on that, does it have a lesser shelf life because it's organic?
No, but it does have, because I don't use like parabens and loads of wash by date.
You have to wash and use this by a certain time.
Well, they found soap in Egyptian mummies' tombs. So I think soap's okay. I mean, I wouldn't want to use it.
No, she didn't. Why would you want
I want to, maybe on my feet. I want to sniff it. But yeah, I mean, soap never goes off, but the essential oils in them will. They won't go rank. It will just smell less. Yeah. And won't be as effective. But things like my facial skincare, it's got like a shelf life of about 18 months. So it's fine, but in places like Tiptree, you've got quite a good turnover, so nothing's left on the shelf for too long. Whereas a couple of places I used to sell in a place near Mersey, and it wouldn't go from 1 year to the next, and I was constantly taking it out, and it's like, well, what do I do with it now? You know, so it's really hard. Because
when you start out, you've kind of got to, budget for those non-sale products that you can't do anything with, right? Yeah. Then you've basically, I guess, got to bin them and start again, and you start from new batch. Yeah. It's unless you're in the industry and you know that's going to happen. If you're someone who's doing it as a side hustle, maybe wanting to start up doing it, and you want to get into these outlets and sell it as far and wide as you can, that's an unknown thing, isn't it? It is
one of the pitfalls. You've got to really sort of keep on it, and sort of make sure that you're rotating stock and making sure that the dates are okay. I mean, if they're getting short of date, then I do goodie bags and things like that. So I will sort of chop up the soap. Well, Lauren will. I say I will. She's my little
chopper.
My little chopper. She's amazing. She's absolutely wonderful. And sort of decant them all into smaller pots and stuff. And people love a goodie bag because you never know what you're going to get.
Exactly.
And so we do like £14 worth for the price of £10. £14 worth of stock. And customers love it because they might actually try something they've never tried before. They wouldn't normally order it, but because they've got it in their goodie bag, they try it, they love it, they buy it forever. Yeah. So it's a really good way of sort of, it's a good marketing thing, and it's really good for sort of getting rid of older stock as well.
When you started this 10, 11 years ago, are there any noticeable differences in how you have to sell a product and how you have to market it? So it was, I mean, 10 years doesn't seem like that long ago, but social media's come on completely massively now, and there are other ways and forms of advertising and doing things and running the business as well. So is there anything you've noticed that's massively different?
I think people are they're a bit more discerning now. They'll like, oh, I'm buying it because it's organic, right? Rather than buying it and it being organic. People are making a lot more sensible choices. I think people are taking more notice of their health and of ingredients, and of what's in stuff, and that's good, because I mean I've always been completely transparent about you have to have all your ingredients in Latin on the back, which is great, isn't it? Because everybody reads Latin. Yeah.
Seriously.
If somebody's got a nut allergy and they look on the back and it says Prunus dulcis, I think, oh yeah, that's almond oil, isn't it?
So seriously, you have to put it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be in Latin. It's the International Nomenclature of Cosmetic Ingredients. State that it has to be, but what I do is I put it in English, and then I put the Latin in brackets, so that people can see. Oh, it's got almond oil. It's got you know, it's got jojoba oil, it's got shea butter. So I've always been really transparent about that and what essential oils are in stuff, because I only really use essential oils like for but a lot of companies will put their active ingredients and that's about all, or they'll put you know, say a perfume's got 16 different, made up of 16 different things, they'll list the essential oils because it sounds good, and then put parfum like for the rest of the perfume. Whereas it might be 3 drops of an essential oil, but they still put it on the ingredients kind of thing. Whereas my products, they only use essential oils. I mean, I do use a couple of like almond extract and vanilla and things like that. They're not, you know, not strictly essential oils as such, but they are like natural cosmetic grade like fragrances. But yeah, so you have to be upfront with stuff like that, and I've always been sort of really transparent, you know, about my ingredients, because I'm really proud of them. I'm really, you know, sort of, I'm really made up that, you know, I'll read them and I'm impressed. I'm like, oh,
A, that you spelled it right.
Yeah.
B, you've used Latin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Who'd have thunk? But yeah, it's all that stuff that you have to, you know. So I can't throw that out to the design department or the, you know, the ingredients department. It's all me. You know, it's another hat that you have to put on. So yeah, it's...
Did you, when you started, did you primarily target's the wrong word, was your market more female orientated, and has that shift changed, that it's more of a balance coming in?
Just targeted smelly people. No, not really. No, it's
walking down the street handing out bars.
Yeah.
Listen, trust me, you'll need this. That's a great marketing. You stink.
Well, I do this gardener's scrubby soap that's got like loads of pumice in it, and I put on the label for gardeners, window cleaners, and anybody with filthy habits. So I thought it was hilarious. I thought, oh, that was so really well, and I sold loads. But
strange that.
Funny. But I've got a customer.
Please send to anonymous.
But I've got a customer who ordered some. She orders from. She's a regular customer. Been regular for years and years. But she right back in the day. She bought some, loved it, and then said, "Would I send her like 6 every 3 months?" And we still do this. But then I changed the label and I put for gardeners, window cleaners, everybody. And I got a very strongly worded email saying, the people I'm giving this to are Christians, and I don't approve of what you've put on there. Could you either amend it or not put that on there next time? Okay, sorry. So yeah, she just gets it. No, it's just like whatever I do, I'm going to offend somebody.
Yeah,
so,
unfortunately, yeah, you're right.
Bless her. So no, she just gets. I mean, I haven't put it on there for years and years. It just says gardener scrubby soap now. But yeah, let's just get rid of the personality. Let's just
which is a shame, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a shame. But so do you do main products as well as?
I do beard oil, which I made for my son because he's got a great big bushy beard. I like to tame that, but it wasn't a huge seller. Really? It's not my main, you know, it's sort of ladies over 40 or over 30, say. That is my main kind of demographic. I mean, I make them, people say, who do you make the soap for? I make it for me. So basically, I am my own target audience. So, you know, everything's been designed for me because I've got really sensitive skin.
And dirty habits.
And filthy, yeah. I like gardening. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, so it's. I mean, I've got customers that are men, but they're not. As I say, I don't target men. I don't target men. Full stop.
That's not what your Tinder for.
No. I don't target men as customers, so it's mainly aimed at women.
Yeah.
And if men happen to like it, then all well and good.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
How long before you started off with the soap? How long before you kind of moved into doing the other products that you do? And you know, are you limit now of what you can do given the facilities you have?
No, I could. It's all a question of money. It's you know, things like when I started out, I was doing like a solid shampoo, and then it didn't sell very well, so I stopped doing it. But then 5 years along the line, all of a sudden, solid shampoos were a thing again.
Right.
And like not the kind of little hockey puck type, like the sodium or sulfate needles. This is actual natural soap, like soap for your head, basically.
Yeah.
For your hair. And so I bought them back, and wallop, it was the the right time to do it, and they absolutely flew off the shelves. And so then I was asked, would I do a conditioner? So it's like, well, okay, well, I'll do a conditioner. But the stuff I had to buy to make the conditioner was like about £80 a kilo. It's now £200 a kilo.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't do the conditioner very often. I was doing 3. I was doing an oily, normal, dry hair one. Now I just do an all-encompassing one conditioner. So you have to kind of adapt. And I strongly suspect that I won't be doing the conditioner, because at that price, the price of it has got to go up quite significantly. It might come down again, but a lot of the places that I get my ingredients from, they follow the global market. So, you know, one week it will be £10, another week it will be £50, another week it will be £80. It's really hard sort of buying and finding suppliers, and you know. But
then I think that you know, you're, as you said, you're 10 years down the line. You've got probably multiple suppliers you can go to get best price.
Yeah.
When you start out, you find suppliers, and you're excited. Well, I found somewhere that can give me, you know, almonds and whatever it is. And then when that goes up and becomes unaffordable, you've either got to put your price up, or then you've got to spend more time market research, product research. And it's just, you know, again, another hat you've got to put on to try and do that, right?
I mean, I've got about sort of 8 different suppliers, and I buy certain things from them. But then I'm always like, well, I better check the price with the other suppliers, and it's like, oh no, they are the cheapest. That's fine. So I've got them all like on a spreadsheet now. I've got the whole kind of, what if I get run over by a bus scenario? So it's all on there for Lauren. You get this from that. You get the cocoa butter from this person, but you know, no, you don't. But you get your glycerin from this one. So yeah, it does take a long time.
But you've also got to ensure that the products you're using are actually top end products, haven't you?
Yeah.
Because you're an expensive product because of the cost. Not only the cost, but it's a bespoke. Independent business. You're not a global manufacturer.
No,
so
exactly.
The costs
So
are
I don't.
they're
going to be higher. Yeah, I'm not buying tons of stuff. I'm buying, you know, 50 kilos of something instead of like 4 ton of it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, it's all relative. So obviously I have to. But then massive global companies have massive overheads and thousands of staff to pay. So it's all kind of relative. They've got to make it for 3p and sell it for £4 because they've got all those overheads. Whereas I can make something for £2 and sell it for £4. You know, obviously it's the markup is all relative. Yeah.
So where's this going to take you then? Where do you see yourself being in 3 to 5 years?
Old people's home.
Frogging soap to the senile.
Soapy Sue, that's me, sitting there making me soap in my bath chair. No, I don't know.
Sounds like a bingo call-out number. Number 2, Soapy Sue. Number 2,
Soapy Sue. I'm getting hysterical now.
Focus on the soap.
Focus on the soap. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I think if I do it for much longer, do my head in.
What oils are they? Essential oils have gone to your head.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean that's probably why I'm so chilled out. I'm just sniffing lavender all day. I'm just like, yeah, man. No, ideally, in an ideal world, I would love to hand the business over to my daughter-in-law to run, and I would like to concentrate on I've worked in retail for 30 years. I've done craft fairs for 25 years. I've got lots of knowledge. I can teach people how to do craft fairs, because I see at craft fairs, I see people struggling, and I created a little side hustle called the Craft Fair Queen back in November, and I'd really like to be able to concentrate on that and do lots of teaching and lots of training and teach people, because selling is really scary for some people. It doesn't come naturally for people. Some people, yes, they've got the gift of the gab and they can sell, you know.
Ice cube sweaty mouse.
That's the one. That's the one. But I can teach that.
Yeah. Because
I've done that. I'm from like retail management, you know, staff training. I love teaching people. Love telling people what to do.
Telling people what to do, yeah. And how to smell.
Yeah, how to smell. Yes, you smell bad, you smell good. But so yeah, for Maldon Soap, I think for me, I mean, I'll never stop creating products. I'll never stop thinking products up. I mean, my main creative things when I'm in the shower. I'm in the shower and I'm like, oh, I could do. I must write it down, and then I don't write it down, and I forget what it is, and then I remember in the middle of the night when I can't sleep. But so I'm always creating products. I will always have a hand in the. I'll always have a hand in the soap. every soap has been touched by these hands. So
that's worrying.
It is a bit.
Have you ordered?
You might want to cut that bit out.
I'm gonna wash them first.
That's what soap's and alkali. No germ, nothing can live on it. No germs can live on it. It's brilliant. But yeah, I feel like it's a little bit of a done deal now. I think you know, Lauren could probably take it to place. She's way more efficient than I am. She's so organised and so methodical, and I'm the creative sort. So I'm, you know, away with fairies most of the time. I'm like, I think I'll do this, and I'm what people call a butterfly. You know, I flip from one job to the next. So I'm surprised I got this far, to be honest. But yeah, I would really like to do my whole kind of craft fair queen, and you know, sort of really sort of concentrate on that. And but I have started with the soap. With Maldon Soap, I've started a thing called the Natural Skincare Academy, which is it's like a membership, and people obviously join, and they get really in-depth videos on how to use the products and why they work and why the ingredients are in there. You know, why I've used those ingredients, and right sort of, you know, pairing it back to like inventor stories and, you know, how I created it and stuff. So they get those. They also get discounted like bundles of products, depending on what we're talking about. So we're talking about cleansers, they'll get the pack of cleansers, you know, sort of a heavy discount. And they also get 10% off of all their regular products. Right. So for those customers of mine who regularly spend, they will actually save money by joining the academy. Yeah. And that's very, very new. That's launching, it's literally just launched. So it's very much in its infancy. There's only a couple of videos on there, but I'm going to be adding to it sort of month by month. And then with the Craft Fair Queen side, I've also launching the Craft Fair Academy, which again is another kind of membership where craft fair, you know, sort of crafters who are a little bit sort of, they're a bit hesitant about selling. They want their stalls to look better, you know, sort of they've not really got, you know, much of much of a clue about, you know, how to set things out and how to actually draw customers in, because it's all kind of down to retail psychology, which I've done, and you know, how to go about, how to find the right fairs, how to get in front of the right people in the first place, you know, how to run a craft business, and it's going to teach them all of that.
And I think that's invaluable, because you could have been going to fairs, craft fairs, for a year, 18 months and not sold anything, and you get getting disheartened by it.
Yeah.
Then, but to have someone who's with your advice,
yeah,
30 years retail, 25 years doing craft fairs, that can just make 3 or 4 different changes. And they haven't got to be massive changes. It can be quite subtle in what, in how they, even how they set up, the colours they're using, etc.
Yeah.
That's got to be beneficial to loads of people out there who have that side hustle, who are trying to make that a bit of extra cash, right?
I mean, I sort of learnt the hard way. I mean, the first craft fairs that I did were absolutely awful, like really, really awful. And I kind of learnt more what not to do. But I've learnt from the ground up, and it's like, well, why, you know, why don't I tell people so they don't have to make the same mistakes that I did? You know, it doesn't have to take them sort of 5 years before they actually start turning a profit or whatever. So that's the next kind of thing for me. But I will still be out there doing craft fairs, and the soap will still come with me. So I will still have a hand in, again, a hand in Maldon Soap, and I will still be, you know, in control, as it were. So yeah, it's all just very exciting.
That kind of puts less pressure on you, doesn't it? Because if you've got someone taking over the main running of the business, where you can take a step back and focus on, you know, the academies for that and for the craft fair queen, and you're helping those people to build that up. And the more people you're helping with the craft stuff as well, that gives you massive more exposure for your own product when you're visiting these craft fairs, right? So it's a win-win, and you're doing kind of less work, but increasing the turnover of the business potential.
I mean, the only thing is, when I go to a craft fair, the pressure is really on me to sell. Because I'm teaching people how to sell and how to make more money at craft fairs. So I've got to do the same. You know, I've got to be caught scrolling on my phone or something.
Yeah, or standing there by the cake stand having an actual cup
exactly.
of tea.
Yeah, spending everything I've made on cake. It wouldn't be the first time it's happened. So yeah, it's really exciting. It's a new but old thing for me. You know, I'm going back to, you know, what do they say? Teach what you know.
Yeah.
You know and that's it. And I know about retail, and I know about selling. And so it was like an epiphany. Like this craft fair in November, it was really quiet. It was an awful day, and the stall holders were naturally quite disillusioned by the weather. So they were sort of just chatting amongst themselves and knitting, and somebody was watching a film on their phone and stuff. But the customers that did come in, they were just sort of getting ignored, because they were just like, oh, we're not, you know, not thinking that customer is a quality customer rather than a quantity customer.
But the product isn't the thing that. The product is what they're looking for, but it's not the product that sells on its own. You've got to have that personality, that drive, and that passion behind it. So and I saw that, and I felt really sorry for people that literally, and I was sort of saying to people, oh my goodness, did you mean to come in, or did you just blow through the door, because it was like really windy, and oh, don't drip on my soap, you'll make it all start foaming, like just joking with them and just, you know, putting them at ease. And I did really, really well at that craft fair. It was amazing. And because I think I just felt I was overcompensating for the ones that weren't quite. I mean, it's no reflection on them. They were just really peed off, kind of thing. So yeah, and I was sitting, I was like, I can help people. I can do this. Like, and within that was a Saturday, and by the Sunday evening, I'd got a logo, I'd got a domain, I'd bought the domain, I'd got Facebook, I'd got, you know, and I was creating my first course, and it was like, wow. So yeah, there's definitely a passion there for that. It comes through. You can see it in your eyes how passionate you are about doing it. Because as I say, you've got that knowledge to impart and help other people. So yeah. I mean, hopefully it will take off. Hopefully people will see that I've got no airs and graces, you know, I've got, you know, I'm not,
I'm not, oh, I've made millions, and that's
of bars
not,
of soap.
yeah, of millions bars of soap. Oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, hopefully they can see that I'm a genuine person and I really do want to help, and that, you know, I can actually make a difference to their, you know, to their craft fair experience, kind of thing. You know, whether they're a new crafter who, you know, starting to put a toe in the water of doing craft fairs, or whether they want to take their hobby and turn it into a business, you know, sort of from whatever level they're at, I can help them, because I've done it a few times. So yeah, I hope it does well, because I really,
I imagine it probably would do. You can tell you've got that drive behind it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always sort of a bit, failure's not an option kind of thing. I'm like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to.
But I think failure should be part of the option. Yeah. From the people we've spoken to and our kind of approach on things, isn't it? If you don't fail, you don't learn, and the quicker you fail, the quicker you learn.
What is it? Mistakes are just I've not made a mistake. I've just found 99 ways not to do something, or whatever. But yeah, no, I mean, for a business venture to fail, it might take the scenic route, but it will.
But every business does take the scenic route, don't you think? You might have this is A, you don't want to get to Z, but you know, everything in between isn't just a straight line. You have ups and downs. You have great days. You have days when whatever you've made has gone wrong, broken, damaged, and then there's days when you might have a peak sales and you do really well, and then there's 2 weeks when you're scratching and thinking, what's gone wrong now?
What is it? If plan A didn't work, the alphabet's got another 25 letters, so just keep trying. I mean, not all days are good. I mean, there was the charcoal incident that happened to me when I activated charcoal. Is activating, it's kind of moving and stuff, and I had it in an airtight jar. Big mistake, because I opened it and it went poof.
Really?
And literally the whole, I'm not kidding, an area probably the size of this room was just covered in black, and I was like, oh. Apart
from the white wall, but a silhouette behind.
It literally was. It's like where my feet were, and it was, and I was like, oh, and I just stood there going, oh, 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 good. Yeah, that took a lot. because it smears, and it just, oh my giddy aunt, it was awful, and yeah, that took me probably about a week to clean it up. So now I took the seal off the jar, and now it's sealed, but it's not airtight. So
you don't buy your mistakes, right?
Yeah, think on. If you're thinking of buying activated charcoal, don't buy it.
So it's been brilliant. Before we wrap things up, we always ask, have you got any tips or advice you could give to other businesses out there, or independent companies, or entrepreneurs, startups, that you can kind of help out along the way?
Don't do it. No. I think you've just
Soapy Sue says
don't do it.
It's a slippery slope.
It is a slippery slope. I'm going to use that as a tagline. Just be yourself. Be yourself, and trust your kind of instinct. Because if you think that something's going to be a good idea, don't talk yourself out of it. But yeah, you should, be focused. Don't try and do too many things at once, because there's a proverb, isn't there? Chase two rabbits, catch neither. You've got to go. If you want to go for something, then go for it and get that done first before you move on to anything else. But yeah, just be yourself, and
because people buy people, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, people
buy people, and people can see through. People can see through if you're trying to be too corporate,
Yeah.
And the whole. When I started my website was, we do this and we do that. We the company. It's only me.
Yeah.
I do this, I do that. Don't think, oh, I can do this. It sounds really, really sort of presumptuous and a bit boastful. But it's like, it is me.
It is you. You're putting that effort in. It's your brains. It's your money going into it.
Yeah. So yeah, never be afraid to be yourself. I guess.
Perfect. And finally, before we do wrap this up, how can these guys out there get in touch with you? What's your website and what are you on socials?
Website is www.maldonsoap.co.uk.
Yep.
And I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn.
Is that as Maldon Soap on Facebook?
Maldon Soap is, Facebook is Maldon Soap Company. Instagram is Maldon_soap.
Yep.
And the Craft Fair Queen is very new, so I haven't actually built a website yet. I've got the domain, but I haven't built the website yet.
Your Facebook page.
But yeah, I've got a Facebook page, which is just the Craft Fair Queen.
Yeah.
And Instagram. Yeah.
Perfect.
That's it.
It's been lovely, Sue. It's been so much fun. It really has. So much fun. Thank you ever so much for coming.
That's all right. No, it's been really good. I've really enjoyed it.
Good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.